Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Well, by the grace of a generous client who's allowed me to showcase this watch before taking delivery, today we're discussing the Lange Sohne Datograph Perpetual reference 410038FE. This is the second generation 2015 to present Datograph Perpetual in 18-karat white gold. Now, the original Datograph Perpetual debuted at SIHH 2006, 39 millimeters like the original Datograph. In 2015, the watch became a 41mm unit that you see here. It also lost its Roman numerals on the dial, so the combination of the larger case and the less cluttered dial creates a decidedly different aesthetic and a different feel on the wrist. The new watch is more substantial, 41mm along my wrist, so from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. The watch is a reasonable 15 millimeters thick considering the complication, and that generously domed bezel allows the watch to easily fit underneath a tight sleeve or formal cuff. From lug to lug it's 50 millimeters, so across the wrist 2 whole inches in imperial terms makes it one of the largest Lange watches available. Now it is very heavy. The white gold is substantial and Lange does not skimp or cut back. The watch has immense mass. It's exactly what you imagine when you think of something like a premium timepiece. You imagine it to be incredibly heavy, eyes closed, a special feeling to wear, and the watch is definitely that. Now there's a traditional straight spring bar, minimally bolstered, monotone-stitch, rectangular scale, dark navy blue alligator leather strap with folded flanks. It feels incredibly smooth, almost as though it were dipped and conditioned in butter. Lange watches feature exceptional refinement, and that holds true right down to accessory components like straps. The calfskin on the bottom feels broken in, although it's brand new. It's a wonderful experience, and it feels phenomenal on the wrist. That attention to detail continues on this beautiful Lange branded single fold deployant clasp. Substantial, beautifully finished, discreetly branded. Like the watch itself, it's wonderfully refined, and the finish spares no expense. It also has substantial heft in its own right, such that this heavy watch, while massive, can nonetheless be worn loose on the wrist because that clasp will provide a little bit of a keel. If you like to wear your watch loose, you want to have a abundantly weighted clasp or bracelet to keep it centered, and this watch has that. Now you'll note that the case beautifully finished, a little bit anachronistic with its rounded profile, featuring satin brushed and high polished elements. You'll also note subtle refinements like the hairline shear of the bezel. Before it begins to curve, there's a small sheer vertical portion. You'll also note there's a subtle bevel of the lugs themselves. So the watch, again, just groaning with refinements. That's a wonderful level of attention to detail lavished on just the case. You'll even note the subtle steps of the lugs. See the pocket between the case flank and the flank of the lug? That's the kind of design obsession that Lange invests in its timepieces. Now you'll note the dial begins with a step. There's a tachymetric scale outboard, and then the dial steps down. While it is metallic, it's not a sunburst. It's a sort of ruthenium gray matte that has a quality of glowing lightly regardless of the light exposure. It's never as rude and boisterous as a sunburst pattern, and that perhaps fits the watch's image. Solidly Teutonic, but also beautifully refined. All of the scales seem logical, easy to read, and there's no sense of crowding. All of the applied indices, as well as the hands at center and the frame for the outsized date, are beautiful polished white gold, and you can see the AM/PM indicator. You can see the seconds scale, and I'm going to unhack the movement. Yes, the movement features hacking or stop seconds, so you can see the second scale and the concentric inner day scale. There's also a month scale, and that is coincident with the chronograph minutes. Just beneath it, a leap year cycle indicator, and a 122-year moon phase at 6 o'clock featuring a solid gold moon disk. Not every moon phase, in fact I will say the distinct minority of moon phases do not rather feature gold as the disc basis. Most of them are simply plated brass, not here at Lange. Now there is a feature that's interesting to note. You must pull the crown out into the setting position in order to actuate the quick change for the outsized date. Note when the crown is in, the system features a safety such that you cannot easily or accidentally cycle the date. Now of course it is a chronograph, and not only is it a chronograph, but it is a flyback chronograph. Like the original Datograph and Datograph Perpetual, you can simply press the reset pusher at 4 o'clock and restart the timing when timing events in rapid succession. The hands are remarkably delicate and elegant. Alpha style in white gold. They also feature a small amount of superluminova paint, so the watch, Although quite formal in presentation and refined, reserved, even a little bit conservative in character, nevertheless has a little bit of sports watch flair in that you can read it in low or no light conditions. On the case back, the main event. As all fans of Lange know, the finish that the company bestows on its movements is not only uniquely glasuta, but it is exceptional and immaculate. Now you'll note a huge balance beating away at 18,000 vibrations per hour or 2.5 hertz. This is the caliber L952 here, so what you're looking at is an evolution of the 951 that debuted on the original Datograph, refined so that it now has 45 joules and 556 parts, all of them exceptional, to provide the flyback chronograph and the perpetual calendar functions. It's also beautiful because it features distinctly glasuta finishing traditions, such as the 4 chaton held in by screws holding the pivot jewels, a throwback to the pocket watch days, the hand-engraved balance cock, each signature of the artisan who created it. Essentially, each artisan has his own or her own separate engraving pattern, and they can be paired using a manual available from the manufacturer. You'll also note the black polished swan's neck regulator, the highest finish of optical polish. You'll also note there's black polish on the escape wheel cock. All of the polished screw heads actually sharing space with heat oxidized cobalt blue screws. There are 2 types in the movement. You'll note the column wheel with its polished head just beneath my thumb, and the nice thing is, because it is a manually wound watch with a lateral clutch, there's a tremendous amount of visual fireworks to be seen when the chronograph is actuated. You can see the levers actuating the column wheel. And you'll also note that the lateral clutch, exceptionally, is fully jeweled. You can see it just below my thumb. You'll watch it move as the column wheel indexes. To disengage, note the chronograph center wheel is not moving. And re-engage the chronograph. Having a fully jeweled lateral clutch is one of the most exceptional refinements you'll see in a traditional chronograph architecture. You'll also note that because it's a manual winding system and a lateral clutch, it keeps no secrets. You can see everything from the pusher actuators to the levers of the column wheel to the lateral clutch itself and the chronograph center wheel. And you'll also note when the chronograph is stopped and you hit the reset button, the hammers that recenter the chronograph can easily be seen falling. This is a watch that keeps no secrets, all of its secrets quite beautifully disclosed. This is a special timepiece. Although it has a 36-hour power reserve, I can't imagine anything but a daily pleasure when re-energizing the power reserve of this timepiece. The pushers feel like butter. The gold, incredibly massive and rich. The dial, beautifully detailed. And the movement, simply sublime. Mike, congratulations on a great watch. Wear it in the best of health.